And we are live. Hangouts on Air is going away August 1st.
What?
What does that mean for Jeff McKinney?
That means I got to get signed up for that other service stat.
And then we'll just upload our videos after.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's going to be more for Dimitri and Grandma Sparkle and the people that watch the show live, because I think that's going away. Unless I can find another service that isn't like hundreds of dollars a month to be able to stream something.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe I can hack a way to.
Well, what about maybe talk to Stub about Facebook Live? Because like I feel like there is some control there, but it's kind of shitty too. Like, because once you go live, it's live. Like, we can't have these
Right.
background conversations and stuff. Yeah.
And I think it's why would anybody download our show? They're just watching on Facebook Live, unless they're awesome like Jeff McKinney. All right. I don't know much about that article, so Solomon,
okay. Yeah. I mean, look, so
right.
I'm reading this abstract and I didn't read the original article, but I'd imagine that they're both pretty right on. Yeah. I mean, the guy's article probably pulled quotes directly from this abstract. Yeah. All right.
Keep talking, Solomon. You go in and out of these big spikes.
I do.
Yeah, like you're spiking right now. Like, John, go ahead and talk again.
So I don't really hear any difference in Solomon's levels as I'm hearing it. It just seems to be spiking on your end.
Yeah. So Solomon, go ahead again, but get fervor about it.
Get in there like this. I'm right on top of the microphone.
Okay. All right. We're good now.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I can't hear you. Okay. What the hell are we doing? It's like we took a month off.
It seems like it almost. Is it canned wine or canned beer?
Canned beer. I was gonna go with another option, but I gotta work tonight. Okay. You guys ready?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Hold up.
All right.
Did you write an intro?
No, I did not.
I didn't either.
All
what are we talking about?
So we're talking about
hey, I'll trade you a bottle of wine for my car.
We're doing I'm so sorry. It's just I was reading about the zebrafish. So
we've got the fighting fish, or whatever you want to call it.
Put down that Red Bull, or we're gonna fight.
Yeah. We've got iTunes reviews. And we've got we can talk about the podcast awards again.
All right. Are we just I'm sorry, as far as like the stories that we're actually doing, we're just gonna do the Red Bull and vodka one?
I thought we were going to talk about the hefty Bordeaux.
Which one is that?
Most expensive wine? No,
I'm just. Where is it?
It's under John.
Mine.
Take 2.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. So get rid of the iTunes reviews and put in world's most expensive wine.
Okay.
Isn't there something shady about that? Shady AF.
I don't even know.
I heard rumors about it, but I haven't read it.
I didn't read anything shady about it. It just seems ridiculous. I mean, fermenting wine in clay pots.
Yeah. So he's making it like old school or something like that.
Yeah, M4A. Yeah.
They do that in Napa, all over Napa.
Oh, I see. Okay. Got it. Okay. Now I see why everybody's in a tizzy about it. Okay.
We're only releasing 180 bottles this year. Yeah, whatever.
All right, now are we ready?
I have been ready.
I've been ready.
Always ready. I've been ready since first call. Roll.
All right. You're in for it, listeners, viewers. Anybody watching? Anybody checking in?
Anybody chalk checking?
Yeah. Fuck off. Here we go.
Hey everybody, it's Lori from Josina Wines, Cabernet Franc and Paso Robles, and I am thrilled to be here on We Like Drinking, where you never drink alone, and there's always smoked whale testicles.
Whoops. Let me redo that. Here we go.
Hey everybody, it's Lori from Josina Wines, Cabernet Franc and Paso Robles, and I am thrilled to be here on We Like Drinking, where you never drink alone, and there's always smoked whale testicles.
At the sound of the tone, the official We Like Drinking time will be 5 o'clock. Commence consumption.
This week on episode 235 of the We Like Drinking podcast, we'll be discussing why Red Bull and vodka ain't such a good choice, the world's most expensive wine, and we are going to keep bugging you until you nominate us for a podcast award. So crack open your beers, uncork that wine, and let's get drinking! Oh man, I am ready for this. I got like 4 cans of Red Bull, a 5th of vodka. It's dark. I'm wearing sunglasses. I'm ready to do this show.
Half-heartedly rock it out.
It took us 72 seconds to get to the first visual joke of the podcast. So we're setting records each and every week. So cheers, my podcast drinking friends, and welcome to Happy Hour 235 of the only soon-to-be 3-time award-winning topical beer and wine education podcast focusing on fun and predictions of the future, apparently. So no, in reality, we're just a 2-time podcast award winning.
That's all.
That's
only one podcast award 2 years in a row.
So now if you're listening to the show, this is your first time listening, you're like, wow, these guys got it going on. I better make sure I never miss another episode of this show. Visit welikedrinking.com/subscribe right now and find either the iTunes button or the Android button. Click it and get subscribed to the show so you never miss another bedazzled episode of WLD again.
Yeah. Hey, you in your car. Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Your tire's flat. Pull over. And while you're there, subscribe.
There you go.
And subscribe the AAA guy too.
Make sure you take his phone away from him and subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Yeah. So you're hearing us talking. Maybe you don't know who we are. So let's introduce ourselves. We have our wine blogger, Jeff Solomon.
My name is Jeff.
We have our beer brewer, John Ruyak.
You don't know who I am?
Oh my goodness. You can tell we've been apart for a little while. And I am your host, Jeff Eccles, and we are going to get into the show tonight. We do not have a guest. We're still, we couldn't get anybody to come into the room after Jeff Solomon is still working on his 8 hot dog
Hot dogs.
fest from last week.
What? So what if my sweat smells like leather?
Have you had to replace the cushion in the chair you sit in for the show?
My wife's pregnant and her sense of smell is really sensitive and
That's
yes.
You see where some guy got busted in the woods because he farted and gave away his position to the cops? Guess he was hiding in a thicket of weeds and he actually let loose with, whatever the pastrami sandwich he had for lunch, and they actually found him.
I'd imagine that happens more often than you think.
Probably. Speaking of bodily gases, what you guys drinking tonight? Let's find out. Jeff Solomon.
Hey, I have. I've been working on a 6-pack from Knee Deep Brewing out of Auburn, California. This is their Slow Mo. It's a 100% Mosaic hopped IPA coming in at 6.5% alcohol. It's damn delicious. I don't know if other folks in the country outside of Northern California get knee deep, but it's some delicious stuff. And their hoptologist, it's either a double or a triple IPA. It'll melt your face.
That's what we like to have happen.
Yeah.
John Ruyak.
So that's cool. Mosaic single hop Mosaic IPAs are pretty good because Mosaic's a really complex hop. If you've never had Mosaic Promise from Founders.
Oh yeah.
Delicious. Yeah. So that's single. That's a single malt, single hop, a true smash. What I have is our single hop IPA made with Idaho 7. So people have just been calling it I7 at the brewery. So this one turned out really smooth. It's kind of a Idaho 7's. I did some reading on it, and you get a lot of fruit on the nose, but when you drink it, it's mostly piney. So it's kind of a mind, fake out. So it's pretty neat. Nice and smooth. 6.4%, 63 IBUs.
Nice.
So now that you've got an Idaho 7 on tap, how many times a day do people come in and go, Idaho, Idaho?
None.
Oh, okay.
So Jeff Solomon hasn't visited yet, is what you're saying.
Actually, there's been a couple of guys who normally come in and drink the stout, and they tried this, and they've been switched over to this for a couple of days. Kind of fun.
Wow.
Nice.
That's pretty impressive. So you guys know I was back in Iowa for a week or so I got to try.
Wait a minute. How did we get that show done last week if you were in Iowa?
It's just, it's just magic, man. It's the magic of podcasting.
Iowa, Iowa.
So I got to taste a lot of great Iowa beer. There's a lot of good stuff coming out of there. I got this little place out of Decorah I've got a beer from tonight. I've got Toppling Goliath. I have their King Sue, so not their Pseudo Sue, their pale ale. I've got King Sue, their double IPA, a little bit of a hazy pineapple.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah. Wow. This thing is tasty AF. And I am looking forward to drinking this second to last one that I have left because they haven't lasted long since I've been back.
Ohio, O-U-O.
Okay, that's enough with the states with mostly vowels. Go away.
Hawaii, Hawaii.
All right. So now that we found out what everybody's drinking, you know who's on the show. I guess it's time to get right into this with a little bit we like to call
wine, beer, or pop culture reference. This is where I'm going to give our panel a term, and they have to guess. You won't believe how this works. They have to guess if what I'm saying is a wine, a beer, or a pop culture reference. The term this week is Zethos. Is Zethos a wine, a beer, or a pop culture reference? Juan?
Zythos.
That's correct.
That's a hop.
Thanks. Anything else?
Never used it. Read about it. Nichols?
Hefe.
Yeah, I don't even know what to go with that. You know what it is. It's a pop culture reference. This was the little known and failed sequel to the hit 80s video game Zaxxon. Zethos, the Zaxxon follow-up. That's what it is.
Revenge of Zaxxon.
Revenge of Zethos. Zaxxon Revenge of Zethos.
You know what's crazy is one of our panel members got this right on, and the other one just pulled this out of their assholes. So, wow. Eccles, great job. Zethos, Revenge of Zaxxos. Zethos is, in fact, a blend of American hops that was designed by Hop Union for American Pale Ales and IPAs. So it's actually a blend of Simcoe, Citra, Palisade, and Amarillo hops. They have tropical and citrus tones with a hint of pine. So, I mean, John, you're right, but you're wrong at the same time.
Well, okay. So
it's a blend.
Okay, there are other
You probably
hop blends.
think Meritage is a grape, and you call it Meritage.
You know, actually, I heard someone say that on the radio the other day, and that was supposedly like a sommelier here in New Mexico. And they said Meritage.
That's as cringeworthy as grabbing your skateboard by the trucks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there are other hop blends out there. Seven Seas is an American hop blend. All the hops start with C, and then there's another one, Falconer's Flight, which is another hop blend.
Nice.
There's a brewery here that makes a beer out of the Falconer's Flight.
Yeah. Cool.
Very cool. Zethos.
Whenever I hear that term, though, it's for some reason it reminds me of mechanical pencils. I don't ask me why. It's just like really something. What?
I think I can see that. I think there's a name of one of the mechanical pencils that's something close to that.
You know, if Eccles would have brought this one up, I swear I would have been like, I don't know, it's a bad guy in one of the Marvel movies. Like that.
I like Jeff Sullivan that even when you give the term, you got to throw in your vote for what it would. If I was,
it's like ethos, but like way later
in the alphabet.
All right. Oh my goodness. Let's do this first before we get to booze news. Let's give a shout out and do.
From over the horizon.
That was the wrong sound.
Yeah, but that's all right. From over the horizon comes.
But we're just gonna do it again with the right sound this time, which is. iTunes reviews. We got another one. It makes us so happy when we get these iTunes reviews. So happy that we read them on the air and give a shout out to the person that left it. Who wants to do it this week? I think I'll go ahead and do this one. So this week, the title of this one is Port, Wine, and Adventure by Kills Time Good. 5 stars. So thankful for this podcast. It makes flights more manageable, buses more tolerable, and is an inspiration to leave no bottle unturned.
Wow.
Well, that's nice.
Well
Thank
said.
you. Port Wine and Adventures by Kills Time Good for 5 stars. Thank you.
What is kills times good? What's the math on that? What do you come up with?
What?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like a math problem.
No, not you're not it kills time. Well, it should be kills time well. I mean, I don't want to disrespect you, but thank you. Kills time well.
I sure am, Jeff Solomon. I sure am glad they didn't give us less stars.
Oh! If you can count it, it's fewer. It's not difficult. It's like pencils and glue, baby.
Just thought I'd throw that out there for you.
All right.
So thank you for that, Port, Wine, and Adventure. We appreciate that. If you can reach out to me at jeff@welikedrinking.com, I probably have something I could send you that you might like. All right. Well, we've been avoiding getting this started. So let's get into this because I didn't highlight anything. So who knows what we're talking about. We'll just wing it as we get into Booze News, where we discuss interesting, noteworthy, or sometimes some pretty silly things. John, I think let's start with yours. So let's go highbrow and then we'll go to the gutters.
Okay. So, Solomon, what's your weekly allowance? What does Kara let you spend on a weekly basis?
Like you're talking about on wine and beer?
Just anything. Not that she
anything?
allows you to, but just what do you guys? You can spend whatever that you budget stuff. What do you?
What are you asking him? What is walking around?
I
money?
mean, you're
what's your-
asking
yeah.
me about my personal finances on an award-winning podcast?
Yeah, what's your walking around money like?
Sure. Like if I was just gonna go spend some money frivolously, I don't know. Maybe I'll spend $100.
Okay,
That's right. I've been known to spend $100 a time or two.
so in a week,
One time I spent $200 in a week.
well, there you go.
So
So
I was living large.
It would only take us 3 years of spending $200 in a week to buy this bottle of wine.
Ooh.
So apparently, somebody in Bordeaux got upset. This winery Liber Pater. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. It's France, so who the fuck knows? But somebody in Bordeaux, this Liber Pater winery, kind of upset that Burgundy gets all the fun with charging huge amounts per bottle. So they decided that their normal $4,000 per bottle isn't quite enough. So they were going to take some Bordeaux grown grapes, ferment them in clay pots from an excellent vintage, and you can get a bottle for the low price of $34,110 per. I'll take 2
per bottle.
All
right. Folks, you need to go visit patreon.com/find We Like Drinking and support us more.
How
Yeah.
else are we going to taste this on the show?
Right.
Do you think we could get Liber Potter to send us a promotional bottle?
A spittoonful.
Here's your 1/8 of a teaspoon.
Can he please
The most we could hope for is like they've got an industry tasting set up. We have to pay for our airfare. We don't get to go inside, but afterwards we could lick the empty glasses.
Yeah, because I'm sure nobody's going to leave a half-empty glass of this one. So $34,000. I don't know. Jeff, do you want to start on this one?
I mean,
Do you have more to say on this one, John?
Why?
Well,
Why
it's-
would
it's
it be
not-
worth 34,000?
Yeah,
Well, they just feel the vintage is phenomenal. 2015. It's they're making it old school in clay pots, amphore.
Okay.
So I guess they spent a lot of
okay.
francs on clay pots.
Okay, there's a couple other things on this on it.
It's
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. So it's the grapes are grown from vines that were never subjected to phylloxera. So I believe, is that correct?
Yes, they're on ungrafted vines, so they're
Ungrafted
Oh,
vines.
their
So you get
original rootstock. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So stuff that you don't get from France or haven't been able to since the 1860s.
from anywhere.
Yeah.
Places in South America, but that's about it.
Okay, so there's that. So
And then
The
the
only-
the only other thing is that they're not the typical Bordeaux varieties. They're Castettes, Tarny Coulant, and Pardot.
yeah, which I thought the Pardot I'd never heard of. So like, okay,
They're
Well,
indigenous.
isn't
they're
isn't
indigenous
it
Bordeaux
sorry,
varieties.
isn't it very recent that they're kind of like expanding in Bordeaux, like what grapes you're actually allowed to put
No.
in?
No. So this will have to be sold as a Vin de France. They won't even be able to sell it as a Bordeaux wine.
yeah,
Well, by the way, there are some things in the works. They are going to be changing things up with the classification in Bordeaux, but this is going to be a vin de Pays.
Vin de France.
Okay, vin de France.
Mhm.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So so lesser known Bordeaux varieties that they've never been able to put in their regular, like, I don't know. That seems so weird to me. Like, I don't know what these grapes taste like, but it sounds like the only reason why they exist anywhere, at least have existed, is more of like blending grapes.
I mean, who knows? They haven't been used to make wine in centuries.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to use a term that some people think they know how it's used, but it's not used the way that you think. Nonplussed means confused. And I'm actually very confused right now. I am nonplussed by this. It doesn't mean ambivalent, you assholes. It means confused. So I mean, that's just weird to me. I mean, are they releasing a lot of bottles of this?
There will be 550 bottles produced. Only 240 will be released this year. And each export market will receive a maximum allocation of 18 bottles.
And is anybody gonna get a chance to there must be industry folks that are tasting this, that have tasted it, that will taste it on the way out. It just seems so ridiculous. Like, we're just gonna trade in exclusivity, and you've never even heard of this. Like, amphoras, like, fine, that's an old school way of making wine. There's plenty of great wineries that still use amphoras today. Like, it's not common, but it's not unheard of either. In the United States, Castello de Amorosa. Sorry, guys. I mean, they use amphora sometimes with Chardonnays. So that's not unheard of. Their normal Bordeaux bottles sell for 3,400. You're saying
4,100.
4,100, and now you're talking about I don't know what's
8 times that.
Eight times. I mean, it seems kind of odd, but it also seems like this is the type of wine that somebody's going to get a hold of, and they're going to hold on to it for like 20 or 30 years, and they're going to be like bragging about, like, I've got this wine. There were 500 bottles made. I've got one of them. A lot of folks have already tasted it. It's more about bragging rights. It's like buying a Ty Cobb baseball card or something, like,
Sure.
Yeah.
So-
fucking deal. I can look at a picture of Ty Cobb with Google Images and not pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a show off wine.
Sure.
That's what it is.
Eccles.
Yeah, so that was the first thing I went to as well, Jeff, that this isn't a supply and demand price. This is a, I don't know if I want to say this or not.
Say it.
This is a gimmick. I mean, they're playing on it, like you were saying, the exclusivity of it, that it's pre-phylloxera, it's I can already see the marketing behind it, like drink like the Romans drank, or drink like the original, drink like they did.
Napoleon.
Yeah, drink like the this is going to be, we're making the same wine that they made 1,000 years, 400 years ago. That, that's the hook on it. And the big question is that hook, is anybody going to take this bait? I mean, I would be fascinated to try it. I would absolutely love to try this wine to see what it's about. But there's nothing here that says so-and-so tasted it. There's nothing around how it tastes or anything like that. It's all about how they made it, not what came out on the other side.
So what's interesting to me is, how do you come up? Who helps them come up with this price? Or do they like take a dart and throw it at a board and say, "Yep, shit, we're going to charge $34,000 for this bottle of wine"?
Oh, they've got a marketing team. Wait a second.
I think we can.
I know that these are like they're look, they're on their own root stock, but like, if somebody's buying this thinking that the vines themselves are 1,000 years old, you're just being silly.
And that's not what I'm saying.
But and no, I'm just throwing that out there. If like that's the impression that people are getting. Were these on their own rootstock planted before phylloxera wiped out like a whole bunch of vines, or like because I don't know. I've got a Sangiovese on its own rootstock in my backyard. I guess I'm not charging enough, is what I'm trying to say.
But it's already on American rootstock because it's
not. It's not. It's a cutting that I stuck straight into the ground that started growing. And there are plenty of places like in Santa Maria, there are vines on their own rootstock. Like, it's not like, tell me something. Give me a fucking story. If you really want me to pay, I would never look. I'm never gonna have that kind of money anyways. But still, tell me a fucking story I've never heard before, at least.
Well, I want someone to have the balls to go on some television ad and say, that Calla Lily you drank last week, motherfucker? This bottle's 400 times better than that. I mean, come on.
So obviously, we Lieber Pater, who's got to be listening to this show, you really, I mean, it is in your best interest at this point to change our minds. I think that's what really has to happen. So
yeah, you know what I am? I'm the guy in that meme with a cup of coffee that says, "No wine is worth $32,000." Change my mind. Lean back, taking a sip.
Yes.
I'm leaning back. Can you hear me leaning back?
Okay. Yes, you can.
All right.
So I think Lieber, 3 bottles. I think 18 are destined for the United States. 3 of them need to go to We Like Drinking. I think that's
if anything, that's going to help your marketing because now it's more exclusive.
You can actually see how well it travels in the heat.
Yes. and we promise that we will put it on the show the day it arrives. The day that it arrives.
I promise it will sit in the cabinet above my oven.
Well, the oven is the walkway up to my
It's
front
a
door.
cooking wine. It's a fucking cooking wine.
Okay. All right.
Reduce that shit, drizzle it on some vanilla ice cream,
Okay.
and throw it in the trash.
All right. We went off the rails 5 minutes ago, so let's stop with that. Let's go with the lowbrow discussion here. So yeah, I guess we're not all lining up to buy that one, but I'm sure they will sell out. I'm sure at that price tag they're going to sell out. So good luck. Man.
Imagine, I can't wait till I meet somebody one day and they're like, actually, that one's in my cellar right now. And I'm just going to look at them and be like, you're a fucking idiot.
Okay.
You're an idiot.
Okay.
The key is you convince your stupid friend to buy it.
Sorry. Here's the thing, Jeff Solomon.
Yeah.
If that day comes, if you meet that individual and they tell you that,
yeah,
you have to turn around and walk away from them if you have been drinking Red Bulls and vodka, because otherwise you will start to say something to them, and then the fisticuffs will start flying, and you will start punching people in the face. Because that's what Red Bull and vodka does. So we have to throw a shout out to Matthew. Where in the world is Matthew and his wife this week? Somewhere in Eastern Europe, I think. I don't know. They said where they were, and I forgot because I saw
drinking in some bar that looks like it's straight out of Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Travel around the world, putting stickers on ancient ruins. Tell me where in the world.
They're in the Shire, according to anyway, so this comes to us from VinePair. It's always going to be a fun story when it comes from VinePair, who found a study published in the Journal of Psychiatric Research suggesting that Red Bull and vodka, or really Red Bull and alcohol, because let's be honest, Red Bull and Jägermeister is a way worse combination than Red Bull and vodka. But it's been scientifically proven that combination starts fights. Right?
Fights between who, Jeff
Okay.
Solomon?
So they did a study with 192 zebrafish, and they fed them taurine and alcohol. The taurine is the primary ingredient that gives you the wings from the Red Bulls, and alcohol. I don't really know how you feed a fish alcohol, but cool. And they found that
Pretty easily, you put it in the water.
But then aren't they swimming in the alcohol?
Yeah, it's just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but they put it through their gills, and then the blood just soaks up the alcohol. Because
essentially, I mean, it probably hits quicker than inhaling a combustible narcotic.
I see. Okay, so they're not giving them little shot glasses. That's what I think.
No, I think
tiny. Well, they got to come to the surface, and you got to pour them in while
Yeah, you got a little.
You got to ratio all that shit out. Like, imagine, just more than anything else, imagine being the guy that has to calculate, like, how precise do I need to be with my taurine and my alcohol levels to mimic how much somebody would be taking into their own body with this little puny fish brain.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Anyway, they found that the fish that were given the alcohol and taurine spend longer time in areas where they might be at risk from predators and had fewer social interactions with other fish, meaning that they displayed more, quote, risky behavior, which obviously means that they all just want to start fighting each other.
So they weren't hanging out inside the sunken ship thing in the bottom of their aquarium.
Right. They were playing chicken with the treasure chest. So yeah, that's about the nuts and bolts of it. I mean, I agree with their conclusion that Red Bull and alcohol is not a good combination.
It is not a good combination.
It's a fun combination.
Yeah, but it's not good.
No.
Fun and good are synonymous in this equation.
So John, what are your thoughts on this before we go to the biology teacher?
Is anybody surprised by this? I mean, I maybe next week I'll have some zebrafish swimming around in my beer. It's to see if they get in fights, and maybe I'll get the double IPA instead, or the Tripel, and maybe they'll fight before they float to the top dead. In which case, I'll just fish them out and mix them with some broccoli and some shrimp the next day. I don't know. I mean, zebrafish, cool little critters. Apparently, they have as much fun with Red Bull and vodka as I have in the past.
Right. All right, Jeff Solomon.
Here's the thing that's so interesting to me, because I was, first of all, VinePair, you do a horrible job of like providing sources. Like, I actually wanted to go to the original study first, and all they did was provide a link to the main page of, Journal of Psychiatric Research. Like, it didn't even take me to the article, which I believe is, the original study that I believe is behind a paywall. But what they listed out in the article is pretty true to what the abstract says for this research right here. I'm just fascinated as to why for this research they focused on taurine itself as opposed to caffeine, because taurine is an amino acid. It's an amino acid that your body produces on its own. It's an amino acid that is present in a lot of the animal-based foods that you eat. The big difference here is when you find it in an energy drink, like on average, you're consuming between 40 and 400 milligrams of taurine a day. But in an energy drink, you might be taking up to 6,000 milligrams of taurine. So there might be a little bit of a difference there.
My liver hurts just thinking about that.
Your liver every day, John.
Oh, I'm sorry. So an average energy drink could go up to 1,000 milligrams. Sorry, 1,000 milligrams of taurine. That's still like, so to me, that just seems interesting that was what they were focusing on, because a lot of research is about the links between like using caffeine and alcohol together. That being said, I mean, what can you really take away from this? Like, I guess what it is there used to be this idea that like, well, people that drink Red Bull and vodka are pretty douchey to begin with, so maybe it's just they're predisposed to get into fights. So I think that this chips a little bit away at this. It's not that douchebags are predisposed to getting this stuff and then getting into a fight. It's more that you try it and then you become a douchebag and then you fight. I mean, it's interesting. Obviously, we're looking at a preliminary study. This is the first study of this kind using zebrafish and taurine specifically. So I'd love to see, where they go from here. It takes a while before you get into like human subjects, but I think we've all been to enough bars where we know what happens. I don't know. It's interesting.
The human study could happen on any Friday night.
Well,
I could never look. Here's the thing. I'm never gonna bash on any science that is done, but I think what I get really bummed out about is how one particular study then all of a sudden gets shared out and it starts taking on these weird titles, and all of a sudden it's this just like ridiculous game of telephone where next thing you know, people are walking around and they're like, oh yeah, if you drink Red Bull and vodka, you're going to get into a fight. That's just science. Like, no.
So
Did you also know that what is it? Drinking a glass of wine is like going to the gym for an hour for your heart. Drinking Red Bull and vodka is like going to the gym for 4 hours for your heart.
No. You know what else? Drinking Goldschlager gets you drunk quicker because the flakes of gold cut your throat. It's true. And then you shit out a diamond.
Oh, that's a good one. I've never heard that one, Jeff Solomon. I like it. All right.
It's got real flakes of real gold.
Well, I want to propose a slightly different thing. I think it's actually gremlins that do that stuff.
I think you're more likely to get into a fight if you drink Fireball. And that is because you're a douchebag.
I don't know. I mean, this past weekend at Lizard Tail has just been crazy. Maybe people were drinking Red Bull and vodka before they came in because
maybe they were drinking Red Bull and Fireball.
I don't know, because Sunday night there was a fight at the brewery that they had to kick people out, and then on Monday night there was another fight where some lady picked up there was a four top. There was four people sitting at a table. It's open mic. There's artists singing and everything like that. There's this four top, and the one lady just storms out, and her boyfriend throws a glass of water at her, and she comes back in and grabs a full beer off the corner of the bar and smashes it into the side of his head.
No.
So I don't know where those people were at, but yeah, so the police got called and there was blood all over the floor on Tuesday morning. And
Nobody flipped a table though?
No.
And shouted prostitution whore while they flipped a table.
Oh no, man. I swear. I mean, there's been like a gremlin at work for the last couple of days. I mean, I just, things fall off of like I had a piece of equipment fall off onto the floor and it busted up, and just weird, weird shit happens.
What if Russians are building a motor underground and it's increasing everybody's taurine levels in Albuquerque?
Oh, but I've been hearing weird noises that have been affecting my performance.
Are the magnets still sticking to the fridge?
So John, let's be honest. You were brewing after the show last week, after our show a couple weeks ago. You're a little tired. You got yourself a Red Bull on the way to work. You accidentally poured it into the brew, didn't you? So
yeah.
Black IPA.
Yeah,
got a little taurine spike.
So someone got a little taurine spike from the Black IPA.
That's what's going on. That's what's going on.
That's what's happening. It's just it's summertime's just weird. It gets hot. You get a long weekend. People have been drinking for a couple of days because it's a holiday, and people act strange in the summertime. They really do.
Who the hell gets in a fight at a brewery? Like, that's so weird.
Yes. It happens. Yeah, I remember last year at 4th of July, same shit.
Really?
That stuff never happens at our place. Never, ever. And last year, 4th of July, same thing.
It's from eating all those hot dog content.
Yep. It's all those nitrates. There's nothing to do with the taurine.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Solomon was a little wound up by the end of the show last week.
Yeah,
if he had added some taurine in him,
I was ready to fight.
the microphone. Okay. Anything else on that? I think we've beaten that down.
Matthew, thank you for sharing that one with us.
Yeah, Matthew, thank you for fighting that for us. The minute I saw that title, I was like, yep, Okay. Oh my goodness. Well, if the fights are breaking out, the zebrafish are living in dangerous situations. It must be not that. Wait. If I can't find the right button, it must be.
Last call.
Last call.
Last call. Time to clean house and lock the door.
Zebrafish, motherfucker. Can we get a sound of like somebody like kicking a chair out from sorry.
You know what we do here, folks. We try to get help from you, and if you don't help us, we fight you because we're drinking taurine. So give us a follow on the socials. We'd love to interact with you there. You can follow us on Twitter at We Like Drinking 1. That's the number 1. On Instagram and Facebook at We Like Drinking. Or the best thing to do, join us in our private Facebook group, The Tavern. Visit WeLikeDrinking.com/tavern to find out how to join. John Ruyak, if the listeners would like to subscribe to our show or give us a review of the show, how can they do that?
So search up the show on Apple Podcasts and leave us a big fat 5-star review. If you're traveling by plane, train, bicycle, wherever, it's a great place to just spend some time. Time kills good, whatever.
That's right.
It's a great equation. If you enjoyed this episode in particular, share it with a friend, grab their phone, do a 5-star review on their phone. Just, hit us up, give us a review.
Do it. Be like Port Wine Adventures and Whale Tate Johnson and leave us a big fat 5-star review. Jeff Solomon, if they want to, if the listeners think that we should get some of the $34,000 bottles of wine, how can they pitch in to help us get that bar tab settled?
This reminds me of a story where like a young boy was walking down on a beach and he saw all these starfish like washed up onto shore and they were about to dry out, and he just starts throwing starfish back into the ocean, and some old man walks by about John's age. He says, "Hey, don't you know you're wasting your time? You're not going to save them all. You're not going to make a difference." And they picked up one of those starfish, looked at that old man, threw the starfish in the ocean, said, "I made a difference for that one." I guess what I'm saying is the only way we get to $34,000 is $1 at a time. And you can contribute $1 a month by visiting welikedrinking.com/pledge to become a patron of our show through Patreon. Download the Patreon app, get a bunch of extra stuff, watch me sprack ollies all day long. It's a good time. It's so much fun.
Absolutely. If you'd like to send an actual starfish to Jeff Solomon, hit me up and I'll give you his address. You can also find the show.
Don't give people my address.
You can. What are you going to do about it?
Give me some taurine. I'll talk to you this
You can also find the show notes for this episode, all the links to the stories or mentions we had at WeLikeDrinking.com/podcast. Or if you're on your phone right now, apparently just swipe right. I just need to get rid of that because I don't even know if it works.
There's somebody so angry, like hitting their phone, like, he keeps telling me to do this and it doesn't work.
Give me some taurine.
You're gaslighting our fan base.
Gaslighting our fan base. That may be the name of this episode. And it's that time. So now I'll say, okay, panel, let's take one last trip around the table and get some final thoughts before we shut off the lights. John Ruyak.
So, Solomon, I thought I was hoping, and it didn't happen. So I'm going to make it happen. When that guy was on the beach throwing starfish back into the ocean, he actually hit that old man in the face, and that old man became Mermaid Man, and you are Barnacle Boy, otherwise known as Kyle.
Jeff Solomon.
You know, my son just started getting into SpongeBob, so I finally get it. A joke for you that I have written on the spot. Here we go. So you know it's going to be great. What's a drunken zebrafish's favorite actress?
What is a drunken zebrafish's favorite actress, Jeff Solomon?
Taurine Spelling.
And with that, I'll say thanks again for joining us at the We Like Drunk Fighting podcast,
Where you'll never
Drink
alone. Donna Martin graduates.
good to be back.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if the girls from Grapes of Grain had been on this episode?
Shit. Oh, well, that just happened.
Oh.
All right, let me get this bad boy saved. What is this? Episode 235. Save before I lose it. Oh, don't yell at me. All right. Viewers, thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed that episode. That was kind of a fun ride. Jeff Solomon can finish his dinner now. Taurine and pasta, is that what you're having?
Yeah. Tortellini.
All right. Night, everybody.